Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today we're going to be sharpening up your lead guitar technique as we learn to navigate through two positions of the major pentatonic scale in the key of A. To get there, we're going to be breaking down the opening licks to the Pure Prairie League's 1973 classic, Amie. Let's get started. Okay, a close look at the fretboard, and we're getting started by learning our major pentatonic scale in the key of A. It's going to sound like this. Okay, pentatonic, 5 notes of the major scale, creates a very friendly and easy to navigate little box for us to solo in over the top of major keys, like over A major. Alright, so what we had there was the 5th fret of the low E string, followed by 2-4 on the A string. Then we have 2-4 on the D string, 2-4 on the G, and then the B string, 2-5. High E string, it's the same thing, 2-5. So we have the notes A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, A, our root, this is a very important note right here, then up to B, a C sharp again, E, F sharp, and back to A, another root, also very important. Okay, so thousands of really great major guitar solos are played right here in this box. Really useful. Okay, once you have that major pentatonic box down, it could also be useful for you to branch out and also learn the full major scale in that position. Okay, so that was 5, 2, 4, 5. Add in that note right there. Then we're going to the 2nd fret of the D string, just a whole step up to the 4th fret. Then on the G string, we're going to play 1st fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret, before going on to the B string, 2, 3, 5, and on the high E string, 2, 4, 5. For a whole bunch of very active notes to create more melodic solos than what you're going to find just in the pentatonic version. Okay, the major pentatonic extension. This is a very useful box, and basically it's creating the octave of the notes that we see right here in the middle of the scale. When you're ready to take your solo to the next level, you usually head up into these higher notes here. Now typically the notes that people feature are the 6th fret of the G string, 5th fret of the B string, 7th fret, and then the high E string gets 5 and 7. So we have 6, 5, 7, 5, 7. Creates a little tent shape right there. But this is actually part of a larger octave of the major scale. Or major pentatonic scale, depending upon how simple you want to look at it. A major pentatonic scale in this position would sound like this. Alright, so that was the D string, 7th fret. Then to the G string, 4th and 6th. Shifting over a little bit, my first finger now on the 5th fret of the B. Up a whole step to the 7th fret. Now I'm on the high E string playing 5 and 7, part of another octave. So if you have those two parts there, you're going to have everything that you need to play the intro solo to Amie and thousands of other solos. Okay, if you have that major pentatonic scale down, from this position, you might as well learn also the full-on major scale version from that same position. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so that's the 7th fret of the D string, 4th fret of the G, up a whole step with the ring finger, Then we're going to play the pinky on the 7th fret of the G string. So far we have. Then we're just going to play a whole step, 5 to 7 on the B string. Now add in the major 7th. That's the 4th fret of the high E string, followed by the root. Back to A on the 5th fret of the high E string. And from there you can also go up into another octave on a single string, just by going whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, now that you have those basic scale patterns down, you're ready to start putting those grips to work, breaking down the intro section to the tune Amie. I'm going to start off by demonstrating the solo for you in its entirety, very slow, then I'll break it down section by section. It's going to sound like this. Okay, taking a look at section number 1, it's going to sound like this. Alright, so that started off with a hammer-on from 2 to 4 on the D string. To the root, G string 2nd fret. First very short, then 1 long. Now we have. That's followed by 4th fret G string, and then back to that root, 2nd fret. From there, we're going to take our middle finger. It's very important that we use this finger to slide up into the extension. So we're going to play the 4th fret of the G string and slide up to 6. So far we have. Now we're going to play the B string, 5, 7, 5. Now you could play 5, 7, and then pull off to the 5th fret, like that. Alright, put all that together and we have. From there we're going to go to the G string, 6th fret, and slide back to 4, before going back to the root, G string, 2nd fret. Okay, let's try that whole lick. Okay, with section number 1 accomplished, you may be wondering what is happening underneath of that series of licks. Just a version of the A major chord played in this position right here, barring the 2nd fret, G string, B string, and high E string, with your pinky barring the B string and high E string of the 5th fret. So I have this note planted on the 2nd fret of the G, and I'm stretching over, striking the G string, and then those 2 strings that we have underneath, like that. And this is going to be ringing out over top of the entire solo. Okay, moving on to section number 2. This is kind of a call and response to the first section, and it's actually a bit simpler. It's going to sound like this, nice and slow. Okay, so there we played 2, hammering up to 4, just like we did in section number 1. To the 2nd fret, first short, then long. Then we're going back to the 4th fret, and to the 2nd fret. It's all G string right there. So that's the same phrase that we had in the beginning of section 1. Except this part is going to come in right at the end, a little tag here. Slide up from 4 to 6 of the G string, and then 1 short note on the 4th fret of the G string, and then 1 long. Now to get that nice short note, we're just going, and then removing the pressure, basically pressing, and then the second you hear the tone, you remove the pressure to shorten it up. The word for that is staccato. Alright, let's put those 2 parts together now. Okay, moving on to section number 3. This part is just a bit trickier, but it's still using a lot of the same ideas from sections 1 and 2. Lots of repetition here. Okay, so on the D string, we're going to start off with that same tag. That's hammer on the 2 and 4. G string, short, 2nd fret. 1 long, then 4-2. Then from there, we're going to slide back up into the pentatonic extension, these higher notes. Sliding from 4 to 6, and then playing 5-7. Alright, so this one starts the same way that section number 1 began. But once we get into this extension here, we're going to do some double stop action. I'm borrowing the 5th fret of the high E string and B string, and striking both strings at once, then the 7th fret. I'm going to do that 3 times. Alright, so B and high E strings, bar and 5th fret, 7th fret B string, bar again, 7th fret B string, bar again, 7th fret B string, and that's the end of that section 3. Alright, let's put the whole thing together now. Slide from 4 to 6, into the extension, 5-7, bar, 7th fret, bar, 7th fret B string, bar again. Alright, one more time. Okay, let's put the 3 sections that we have so far together. It's going to sound like this, nice and slow. Okay, moving on to our 4th and final section. I want to mention that there is a continuous stream of notes between sections number 3 and sections number 4. So it's going to be very tight. Coming out of section number 3, we have the double stop section. Now demonstrating part number 4 very slow, it's going to sound like this. Okay, so what we have there, we have one phrase starting us off, coming out of the double stop. Alright, so that was 5-7-5. The 5 is very staccato, and it's followed up by another 5th fret of the B string. 5-7-5-5. Alright, that's going to repeat again, 5-7-5. But then we're going to play the 6th fret of the G string and slide to the 4th fret of the B. So far we have. Coming out of the double stop. Then we're going to play the 2nd fret of the G string. And then finally the 4th fret of the D string before striking our open A string. You put all that together, we have now notice I have my A major chord all ready to go. I'm just barring over the D, G, and B strings, probably blocking out my high E string. And after I pluck that open A string, I'm going to strum those strings nice and hard before going up to my G chord. There I'm kind of playing a scratch, scratch, and then a downstroke on the G chord. And then I'm going to do the same thing before going to my D major chord. So then I have the open A string, scratch, 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 and then the D major chord. Now this is a blocking or like muting technique. It's very important for anybody who wants to excel with rhythm guitar, especially in the acoustic guitar realm. So practice covering up all your strings without losing the grip of your chords. I'm covering up my G chord, but I'm not pressing anything. I'm just dead fishing the strings and going down each note, each string to make sure that they're all dead. Then when I'm ready to strum the chord, I just engage. Just like that. Okay, let's put all 4 sections together now. It's gonna sound like this, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I got plenty more videos coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe and please share. My name is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.